As the temperature warms up, rivers and small ponds across the UP begin to open up. That means beavers are on the move. I hooked up with the guys from Circle Crow Knives for a day in the trapline.
You can see where they've been coming through. That grass is matted down.
9 million acres of forest, 1,700 miles of continuous shoreline, 4,300 lakes, 12,000 miles of streams, more than 300 waterfalls, 15 counties, 2 time zones, and 1 area code. Welcome to the Upper Peninsula. Welcome to 906 Outdoors. No creature influenced the settling of the Upper Peninsula, as did the beaver. Although the methods and equipment may have changed through the years, the long tradition of trapping beaver lives on.
Yeah, I put that set there. There really isn't much runoff here, and that's about the only drainage coming out of here. And normally that's open. That water starts flowing when the dam is frozen. Plus, if you don't set on the dam, you don't tend to catch the smaller beaver. So we try and target the bigger beaver and leave the small ones for seed. The only problem with these sets, if you catch something, the conibear will kill him, but he's not underwater. And if a wolf comes through or a coyote, he's got a tasty free meal. So that's why you want to check them pretty often. I picked one up there last time, but another one will go through there eventually. That was flowing last time, before this last cold snap, because it's going to take a while for this dam to thaw. Well, they cover them with mud. One, it seals it, but that mud freezes like concrete. Predators can't dig in there and get at them in the wintertime. It's like trying to dig through a concrete wall. When that mud freezes, they're warm and they're safe. You don't have to go very far for a bite to eat, and it doesn't freeze inside. It stays above freezing inside. Plus you get a little snow on there and then it insulates it as well. When there's snow on it, if you're scouting for beaver, you can tell if it's active because you'll see an air hole on top. So there'll be enough heat working its way through that mud and those sticks somewhere that there'll be a little vent on top. So you know there's beaver living in there. Usually they like popple or aspen, but they'll take tag alder or birch, and then they'll put that food pile just out from an entrance to the house or the lodge. You know, it freezes, but what's underwater is available to them, so they go out there and bite off a piece of lunch, take it back to the lodge and have lunch. And that, you know, that's another sign it's an active house with that food pile out there. This house is only 2 years old, but grass is starting to grow on it now and stuff. If there's enough food, the beaver will stay in an area, but the adults chase the younger ones out in the spring to make room for the new kits. And we'll see that on a couple of those hides. They actually will bite them. Plus, when those young ones go out, they intrude on others' territory. So then they fight, and the established beaver will chase off that young one and bite him. The younger beaver will disperse upstream or downstream, start another dam and another colony. So you'll have a few beaver in one house, but not like 20 or anything. You know, the house is only so big. It'll take a small family, and the younger beaver have to move on and start their own family, their own lodge. It's like 20-year-olds. Sooner or later, you kick them out of the basement, say it's time to get a job and move on.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works, home of Michigan's largest custom knife factory showroom.
That's the dam we're going to walk down to. That's a big house down there. That's an old one. You know, you can see they had that little ditch and then went way back for food. Yeah, and they'll excavate those back quite a way at times if it's easier going, because they're a lot safer in water than they are on land. They'd take the ditch as far as they could, and then they'd make a trail. The fact that there's a trail, they made many trips back and forth, hauling their food pile material, you know, back and forth all fall to stash it up by the lodge. And if this was grass, you'd see it's all packed down like it is over there where it comes out of that ditch. But when they come out here on dry land, they're vulnerable. And I think that's probably when the wolves get them as much as any time. Although I was talking to a guy who was deer hunting last fall, and he was sitting watching a beaver dam. And he saw where the beaver came out through a hole in the ice, and then just went a short distance to take a piece of bait, drag it back down. And that wolf lay down by that hole and just waited. Eventually a beaver popped up. He grabbed it, dragged it back on the ice, killed it, waited. Second beaver eventually came up and he got the second beaver. Just like Eskimos waiting at a seal hole. So they got lots of ways to hunt them. I think that's probably wolf right there. That's a pretty big paw print. Sometimes otter tracks when they melt will look like that, but an otter would go a little way and then slide. And you'd see that slide mark on the ice. It might have been coyote, you know, they're older. The other thing that makes me wonder if they didn't get the beaver in that house is see how low this water is on this dam? Usually they'll keep that dam up to maintain the water, but here it's down a good foot, maybe more. That's a dive pole set, and that channel's deep enough that it'll hold a 330. So I got a conibear sitting underneath that pole laying across the water, so when they come to it, they'll dive under. The theory being they dive right into the trap. But you can see there's not a lot of open water yet. So let's go take a look. Water went down a little bit, so I'm going to drop that log a little bit. Here's the channel right here. And that trap is right there. I had it propped up on this one because the water was higher. But I'll drop that just so it's catching water on the upstream side. The other nice thing is ice won't set these off. If you got ice floating down or that, it doesn't go through that trigger and set it off. But maybe next time. This is the main runoff through this dam. You can see where they've been coming through. That grass is matted down. Take that channel out and then go back down to that dam below. So it stays open. There's a little bit of ice around that, but lots of foam, so that'll be all right. And sooner or later, one will slide through there. But we need a little warm-up, which isn't going to happen for a few days. Yeah, they just take a few scoops of mud and pile it up and then squirt a little of their castor scent on there, and that marks their territory. Be a good spot for a set once it opens up, because they'll keep coming back and visiting that. I see the trap is gone. That's a good sign. Some ice broken here. Oh, there's the trap. Yeah. Not a real big one, but we got one. That's better than not getting one. All I got to do is get them out of there now. This is cheating, but it works. That's a 220. That's a smaller jaw spread. It's good for otter. In fact, we caught an otter here and another beaver and then this beaver. They're just coming down this little channel and that's all there is to it. A beaver. Not a big one, but big enough.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Blades Bait and Tackle, your year-round connection to fishing Bay De Noc.
We just get some of the rough stuff off and then let it dry. Clean it up a little bit. It's nice to put them on the board when they're dry. That hide dries better. Nice hide.
Beautiful.
Then he's ready to get skinned and we'll tack him on a board. Get a start around the tail. Clinton wants to eat this one, right?
Yeah, he wants a couple of carcasses if we got them.
Yeah, beaver's good eating.
Yeah.
You don't like them, but they're not bad.
I've skinned too many of them. 70s we started together.
So that's a few years,
Yeah,
and we grew up with it, you know.
yeah.
I started with Reno.
Well, I started on my own. Then I met you, and then that really started it.
One of the earliest memories I have with Reno was beaver trapping.
Yeah,
And we were trapping Lottie's Creek down by Rabbit Bay,
yeah.
and he'd carry me in the pack basket.
Is that right?
I was old enough to walk, but I couldn't
Yeah.
keep up with him.
Huh.
But then if he got beaver,
You had to walk.
I had to walk out.
Sure.
You hoped he didn't get a lot of beaver.
You know, we used to snowshoe in and catch 2 or 3 big beaver and then carry them out. Now we got our side-by-sides. Yeah, where we went with the side-by-sides today, we used to snowshoe that. From one end to the other, every other day. Well, I'd say it's 5 miles to the back end there from
Yeah, probably.
the old farm. Yeah. We had traps all over. Anywhere you could put a trap in. That year on Barnett's Creek, where we were today, we had 57 beaver and 3 or 4 otter, I forget. And we got rich on that. That was a big year.
Yeah, that was big bucks.
Oh yeah. It was fun. Otherwise you wouldn't do it. Nice
Yeah.
time of the year to get out in the woods,
Yeah, if you didn't like to do it, you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't do it.
you know.
It might pay for gas.
I don't think so. Here,
Yeah.
let me show you this. Right there is their comb. It's a split nail.
And they comb their hair out.
They comb their burrs out and stuff like that. On each hind foot, they have a comb.
Nothing goes to waste. Carcasses are pretty much in demand. Some people to eat them. We got 1, 2, and I got another guy wants 1, 3
Yeah.
to eat, and then predator hunters will take them, and cat trappers for bobcat.
Clint, he likes to roast his.
Yeah, nothing wrong with roast beaver. So that's that one. Then we'll tack them on a board.
Yeah, those boards are a day older in water.
The thing I use the circles for now is to try and get them symmetric. So I got a center line here.
Geez, you didn't save this binder twine, me.
Jill threw that in there, otherwise I
Holy
would have
man.
saved it.
Look at the binder twine he's got there.
That ain't
Saves
funny.
them all.
That ain't funny, you know. Jeez.
Well, gotta give it to you.
I gotta get a new partner. I like to put 2 in there because sometimes they pull out. These nails are only about 100 years old.
We were gonna build a sauna. We had the lumber there, and I said, Ray, you got nails? Oh yeah, I got lots of nails. You know what he brought out there? Coffee can full of bent nails.
And there were lots of them.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
coffee can was full of
if
bent
you
nails.
sorted through there, you'd have found a bunch of good ones.
Yeah.
Did you sharpen that knife?
No, I don't want to sharpen your knives.
Let me see your knife.
Don't cut yourself.
Well, we'll find out how sharp it is. Boy, I don't like that sharp point on there.
We'll give it back.
You gotta keep that blade parallel to the hide or pretty close to it.
I'm watching you. You know, you put that on a fleshing beam, you'd be done with that in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But we don't know how to do that.
Well, this is the old-fashioned way. It's tighter up here. I'll get this and then I'll tighten that up down there. Well, why don't you do something useful?
It's more fun watching. You don't think I'm gonna get my fingers greasy now? You done with this?
I could get it a little greasier.
Oh, that's good enough.
Look
Look at that, he darn near got her.
They say about an inch, but I just make sure there's no dips in between. I try and round it out a little bit. I think ideally they say dry them around 50 degrees or so. In this cold weather in the barn, it might take them a week, but I dry them out here and whatever the temperature is, that's what it is. And some of the buyers like you to tack the feet up. 32 inches there, 24, 56. So not a monster, but average size beaver. That's all she wrote.
All right, we'll see you guys.
906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Christ, your Northwoods neighborhood store. Today's Wild Game Break is brought to you by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. Find out more at cookingwildseasonings.com.
Look at this, look at that perch. I set the hook on it, and I had my drag set kind of light, so if you take your time, and just bring them up nice and easy, they're not going to blow their airbag, they're not going to blow their stomach, and you can actually release those fish. And those are the spawning females that we need to put back into the lake. Keep those 9 to 11 inch males that they're actually going to have more meat on them, and they're going to make for a better fish fry.
Yep. Nice fish. Had to work for that one, didn't you?
Yep. There's a little fish on the bay for you right there. Had to work for this one, but that's what it's all about.
Nice slot fish.
Beautiful.
We're out here fishing about 32 feet of water, fishing on a break here. running big sucker minnows for big Bay De Noc walleyes. That's how it's done right there. Get you some. That's why you come to Little Bay De Noc right there. You never know what you're gonna catch.
Yeah, we come out this morning, set up in the dark, and put our tip-ups out. Been pretty slow in the shack jigging, but ended up getting a nice eater on the tip-up here a little later in the day. Hopefully the bite picks up a little bit.
And that's why you make the trip.
Nice fish.